first podcast of the Virginia Tech Police Department's Off the Cuff with VTPD. Our show guests, or hosts rather, we hope to eventually have guests, is Corporal John Tarter and the amazing detective, Michael Johns.
Yep.
So, Michael, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So yeah, like Tardy here said, I'm Michael Johnson. I'm a detective. I'm assigned to the investigations unit in the Virginia Tech Police Department. So I've been with the department for about 5 years now, a little bit more than that. Like everybody else in the department, I started off in the patrol division, and I was on patrol for about 2 years. Then I got promoted to detective there, assigned over to the investigations unit. I was with investigations, and I served on a regional task force that we're a part of for a few years, and now I'm back just a regular detective at the police department on campus, investigating all sorts of crimes that come across our desk. Before I was with the police department, I actually went to Virginia Tech and graduated. I got my degree in history and political science here. I'm out in Montgomery County now, and I've got two bunnies, two Dutch Rex, Crouton and Cornflake. They've actually graced the Virginia Tech Police Department's Instagram before. You might have seen them as the patrol bunnies. Outside of policing, I'm a big fan of board games like those, and I'm pretty interested in the law, inside work and outside. So that's a little bit about me. Tell us about you there, Tarter.
So I've been a police officer for approximately 37 years, and most of that time I spent as a Newport News police officer, where I was a canine officer for about 14 years. I spent about 3 years as a DARE officer and in 5 different elementary schools. While in canine, I had 5 police dogs, 5 German Shepherds, and a bloodhound as well. I retired in 2009 and wanted to do a little bit different policing than a town or a city. And so I came to Virginia Tech Police Department, and I've been here for approximately 15 years. While I've been here, I have served as a field training officer, a bike officer. I am a CIT instructor, and I work as a Residence Life Resource Officer, a ROLO, in our community service unit. I currently have 2 cats and 2 dogs, and one of the dogs is a Chihuahua named Rolo as well. And maybe in the future we can have a Rolo on the show as well. So let's talk about the Virginia Tech Police Department. How many officers do we have at Tech?
Yeah, so right now we have 48 sworn police officers. We are a full-service police department, regular law enforcement officers, just like any other police department. Our organization, kind of briefly, is we've got the chief and the deputy chief, they're the director and assistant director of public safety at Virginia Tech. And below that, 2 captains, one over the administrative side of the police department, one over the ops side, and then 6 lieutenants. They're over each kind of area of the department, one over each shift, one over investigations, one over Rolo. And then below each lieutenant is a sergeant and a corporal, kind of the supervisors of the department, kind of frontline. And then, of course, we got all the officers and detectives, resource officers, patrol officers underneath that. And in addition to all those sworn law enforcement, we have a lot of awesome people who are in some non-sworn positions. So tell us a little bit about that, Tarter.
So we have approximately 10 officers, non-sworn, that are security officers. They wear similar uniforms to the Virginia Tech Police Department officers. Obviously, it clearly says security on their uniform. They do a plethora of functions at the police department. One is they lock and unlock doors. They help us with traffic control during certain events. They also will jumpstart cars, lock or unlock cars that are locked after parking services leaves for the day, weekends, and at night. They serve as that function. They also sometimes drive the Safe Ride vehicle. Safe Ride is normally driven by our students, and not all of them are students, but it is a part-time job where you can drive students anywhere around campus into the Math Emporium. At night, usually it's anywhere from 8 o'clock at night till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, depending. Then we also have a threat assessment team coordinator, a civilian, who helps to manage the threat assessment meetings and information to disseminate information to the threat assessment. And we could talk a whole podcast about that. We have a Clary coordinator that works primarily from home right now, but she does come in. She's in today, and she manages and helps us through everything Clary at the university.
Mm-hmm. And of course, in addition to our kind of regular police department employees, working at Virginia Tech gives us an advantage. We have kind of larger professional staff to work with. So we have some people who are shared with other areas in the university, but do a lot of great work for us, everything from purchase requests to more finance, HR, IT. General business services that really work closely with us, but also work with other areas of the university, so aren't solely with police. So working with them is always great, and a big advantage to working at a big place like Virginia Tech, where we can get some great professionals working with us. So breaking it down a little bit, what do we got? Kind of what's a great little rundown of each unit that we got here?
We have 4 patrol shifts. We have 2 permanent shifts and 2 rotating shifts. The permanent shifts will work days or nights, 7A to 7P or 7P to 7A. The rotating shifts, they will work a month of days and then a month of nights. We have a robust investigations unit where we have a lieutenant, sergeant, lieutenant, and 2 detectives. And then we have on loan, the Kenny Ball is in investigations right now. Investigations has gone anywhere from 2 detectives to 4 detectives, depending on the year and the situation at the time. We have residence life resource officers. We have 5 of those. We have a sergeant that coordinates that. We have 3 police canines at Virginia Tech. 2 are explosive detection dogs, and the other one is a German Shepherd that is a patrol dog, and it also does drug detection as well. We have 1 person assigned to the drug or to the as a task force detective. In the past, we've had 2 of those. Right now, we have 1. That's a temporary assignment that you do for anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and then you come back to patrol or something else. What's the last? We're probably going to miss somebody in this process. What's the last part of the Virginia Tech Police Department?
Yeah, one other piece that's really important is running records and accreditation, and that's mostly our records manager, but a little bit with other people too with accreditation. Really important and a lot of work doing that. But yeah, if we've missed anybody, we really appreciate working with everybody in the department. And just beyond the police officers, a lot of other people have to put in a lot of work to help make everything run smoothly. So that's kind of a little bit about our police department. So then we'll let you all know, the listening audience here, what we're doing with this podcast, what our ideas are for it. So we're looking at, semi-regular podcast. We're going to give you about 20 minutes. That'll vary a little bit. Let us know if that's working out, how the format is, if you like it, how you like to access it on the internet. We're happy to put it on different platforms. But what's a little bit, why are we doing this? What's a little bit of the idea behind doing this podcast?
The Virginia Tech Police Department is heavily involved in community outreach. And so while, I listen to podcasts when I'm traveling down the road a lot. And so we want to reach out to the community. We've had a radio show, on WUVIT for about 10 years. The podcast that we're looking at, maybe like 20 minutes, probably no more than 20 minutes. Kind of thing. And it's a way that we can bring guests on the show and we can talk about different topics that might interest students, faculty, staff, and visitors as well. Answering community questions is a big thing, and we're going to talk about at the end of the show how they can reach out to us. We also are going to have different segments on the show, like MJ's Legal Corner. Now, why did you want to come up with that? Why did you want to do a legal corner?
Well, I have personal interest in the law. I think it's interesting, and I think it's helpful for everybody to understand the law, understand why the police department is doing the things they are, what our priorities are, but also with the overall purpose of the podcast. There's a few police podcasts out there if you go looking, and I know we've drawn inspiration from a few of those. But I think we want to make this one a lot about Virginia Tech, and so I could talk a little bit about something that interests me, the law, but let's talk about ones that are applicable to the community here, stuff that really matters to Virginia Tech and comes up a lot. But touching on that a little bit, where have we drawn a little bit inspiration from other podcasts? What have we
Rocky Mount Police Department, they have one that I've listened to several times, and then they don't do a video part of it, I don't think. Mm-hmm. The Newport News Police Department, where we kind of borrowed some of the ideas, they have both video and recorded podcast and audio, visual, and things like that. And so while we might not have all the gimmicks yet, we hope to get those in the near future. We have a producer that Jamie, an amazing producer. And so our goal is to reach as many people as we can with this podcast. So let's do the first MJ's Legal Corner. What was this topic that you picked for this one?
So today I want to talk a little bit about traffic safety. I might touch on that for a few episodes. We'll see how things go. So like I said, I'm interested in the law, and let's talk specifically about bicycles today. Bicycles on campus. And when I say bicycles, kind of e-scooters, regular scooters, anything that's not like licensed, this kind of falls into the same category, the one-wheelers. So something that the reason I want to talk about the law, I talk about the legal corner, is that sometimes people get a little confused and frustrated. They feel like people aren't following the rules, it's creating some dangerous situations on the road. But they're wondering, so what are the rules? What does the law say? What's the university policy? So let me drop a little quote here from Code of Virginia 462904. This is about where you should be riding your bicycles, skateboards, all that stuff. So you can ride it on the roadway kind of as a vehicle, or you can be on the sidewalk. So the law says a person riding a bicycle on a sidewalk or shared use path or across a roadway on a crosswalk shall have all the rights and duties of a pedestrian under the same circumstances. And it's vice versa for being on the road. So all that's saying is you can ride your bicycle on the road, you can ride on the sidewalk, but if you're going to be on the sidewalk, you're a pedestrian. If you're on the road, you're a vehicle. So to kind of unpack that, you're on the road, you got to stop for those stop signs. You got to stop at that stoplight. You got to be riding the right direction. Some of our community members struggle with that one. A lot of frustration there, going the wrong way on the road. That's no good.
Especially the drill field, right?
Yeah.
We have a big problem with the drill field. Getting to and from classes, they think going the wrong way is an easy way to bypass pedestrian. But why is that a bad idea?
It's pretty dangerous. People are not looking that way when you're riding the wrong way. Vehicles aren't expecting to be going the other way, especially around all the parked cars. And of course, I'll reiterate, that's something you get a ticket for. You don't want to be showing up traffic court because you're going the wrong way. And that's something that when as a police department we identify certain areas that there's some danger going on, we will step up our enforcement efforts around those areas. So really be careful about that.
So you're saying that we could theoretically see between now and even after spring break, especially after spring break, when people come back and might forget certain things, that they might see more bicycle police officers doing the education programs on the drill field?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're not out to try and just get people in trouble, but when there's a safety issue, we do have to address it. So we're not out to be trying to write people tickets here left, right, and center unless it becomes a serious issue that we need to address with people. We also like to focus on kind of education, warnings, until things get a little more dangerous. So that's the law there. And we're the Virginia Tech Police Department. We're focused on the law. We're law enforcement. But I just want to drop a little university policy too, just for everybody's understanding. So bicycles, university policy says that you can be on the roadways and you can be on the sidewalks and all the pathways, asphalt paths, grass on campus. That's fine. You just have to be careful about pedestrians and can't be riding through heavy pedestrian traffic. Then you got to dismount. Quick note there, though, when you're leaving campus, the town of Blacksburg is a little different. In downtown, you cannot be riding on the sidewalks. So just keep that in mind. And that's because they're set up a little differently downtown, right?
Just more people downtown on sidewalks, whereas you go further into Blacksburg, there's less people on sidewalks, so you could share that space. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, quick recap. You're on the road as a bicycle, on the scooter, all that. You got to follow all the roadway rules. You got to be going the right way. You got to stay the right way in the bike lane. Stop signs on that. You're on the sidewalk. That's fine. You just got to act like a pedestrian. Be careful around there. And no bicycles in downtown Blacksburg sidewalks. So that's Michael's Legal Corner. Hopefully that was a little educational to people. Hopefully that clarified some of the rules and laws around bicycles. Got any other kind of segment ideas for what we'll be doing?
I think in the future we thought about having one of our canine officers. His dad was a canine officer before he moved here. His son is in the process to be a Virginia Tech police officer, so we hope to get those two on the show. We want to do a community policing podcast in the future. What were some of the other things that we talked about? Do you remember as far as, and we will take any topic ideas that you might have for the future. And how you can reach out to us is either you can email Corporal John Tarter at tarterj.vt.edu, tarterj@vt.edu, or you can check out all of our programs and services at police.vt.edu.
Yeah, and wherever you find this podcast, wherever you're listening, drop a comment. We're going to check those. Let us know what you think about the content of this format, too long, too short. We're open to all kinds of ideas, getting this kind of new program off the ground. Really eager to hear what everybody has to say about it and listen to ideas.
Yeah, I think one of the ones we talked about too is the difference between campus law enforcement and town law enforcement or city law enforcement, because there's different types of policing that people gravitate towards. We're also going to have a segment right now called Off the Cuff. So, MJ, off the cuff,
Okay.
Pizza or spaghetti?
Pizza there. I'm going to go with pizza.
SUV or pickup truck?
Go pickup truck for the utility. They carry a lot of different stuff. Versatile.
Police uniform or plain clothes?
Plain clothes, as you can see, a little more comfortable. No offense to the uniform.
Do you enjoy running or walking? Running or walking?
I'll go for a good walk. I don't mind a jog here and there, but a nice peaceful walk can't be beat.
And the last one is boring board game or exciting video game?
That one's tough. It's a little toss-up, but even in a boring board game, you can at least, engage in conversation with those right in front of you. It's great to connect to people in person rather than over a screen.
Well, I think we gave a plethora of information today for today's podcast. Stay tuned. We hope to drop them hopefully every 2 weeks or so. And then I think our next one we're going to focus on is scams and frauds.
Yeah, that's one that's been kind of going around the community a lot. People are concerned about it. So want to give some information on that, talk about that, tips and tricks, and address that in the community. So stay tuned and definitely tune in for the next one for that topic.
Until next time.
Yeah, thanks for listening. And again, drop a comment. Let us know what you think about the show and the format.